Are you listening? Damn.
Yeah.
And I went to Europe the next month, like a month after going cold turkey, and like that's European breakfast, like cigarettes and
Yes, and
coffee.
coffee.
Like the air just smells like cigarette, and I was like,
Myth.
Really?
literally just stopped. So like the end of March is gonna be like my 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
So-
So get like me, my lungs are sparkling, like my organs
They're
are
crisp.
glistening. Like y'all need to get like me.
This
for
is the
real.
only thing that made me stop smoking.
It's like a pacifier though, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's like an emotional support vape. An emotional support vape, honestly, yeah.
So I wanna put some things on the table, right? So we're content creators, and there's this huge thing that people don't want to talk about, and this is the idea of competition. Ne?
Yeah.
So I go to events where, like, even when we had our mixer, right? We were hanging out all together, but they were definitely click skiing.
Please fix your mic.
Y'all
What's
didn't
happening?
invite me to the mixer. Let's start there. I didn't get an invite to the mixer.
Yeah.
No, okay, let me explain what
Leroy,
happened.
wait.
I did not. I don't think I did. I
Was
did
that
not.
2 years ago already?
It was,
You
yeah, our
guys did not
mixer.
invite me to the mixer.
But you were in
I
Europe,
feel a
friend.
bit like sad about you guys talking about this mixer that I wasn't invited
But you-
to.
you were
but
in
As you
Europe.
were. How was the mixer? How was the mixer for you since you were invited?
How was the BI mixer for you?
The one at Hudson.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So
It was cool. Remember, at that time, I didn't know anyone. So I was very...
I did a
Quiet,
shy.
preserved.
I mean, I'm shy already right now.
Yeah.
But, like,
But
now I
Leroy,
don't
were
know
there
nobody.
kicks?
So let me tell you what happens when you go into, and I think you guys can attest to this, right?
People always find
anywhere there's content creation, actually anywhere where there's like a spotlight, we always want to flex with who's got the bigger numbers, the followers, and therefore the bigger brands. So I'll come to Bona and she'll be like, oh my God, I was in Europe and I was working with Yves Saint Laurent and Gucci came and then I was just hanging out like Elsa Majimbo style, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, me and Naomi Campbell were brushing our teeth together, whatever. And then, because I saw this happen to me in real life, guys. In real life, I was sitting at a table, and I won't mention who was hosting this event, and we started flexing. There was
On each
flexing, but it's that flex of, oh yeah, sorry, I almost didn't make it to this event because
Name dropping.
our flight landed so late, and you know, X did not want us to leave, so we just ended up partying at their house in Clifton.
Oh.
Yeah, and you're sitting there thinking you've got a
can't.
campaign for salt. or for spice, you
For
know.
some people, like that's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's just.
But don't you find that there's like this weird competition where people because you, for instance, have done a lot of stuff where you've traveled abroad, you've done amazing things, but at no point did I feel like you were flexing on me. You know, you were telling a story about how you quit smoking.
Yeah.
And the context was where you were.
Yeah.
But you didn't say to me, so we're staying at the Hyatt in the presidential suite, and then
I think you just get those
So-
types
so
of
the
people.
trick is to
Vibes, yeah. Everything is vibes.
I don't like hanging out.
So the trick is to go to a country where they do it so much, you're like,
yeah.
is that what it is?
What?
The trick to stop whatever. Like, if I want to stop drinking, what country must I go to? South
South
Africa.
Africa.
Ah.
But we're not gonna stop because it's not looking good,
South
babes.
Africa.
But do you find that there's a
Flexes.
weird flexing that happens in your
No.
spaces, or are you so?
I feel like I can't be flexed too because my life is already so impressive. Like no one can top what I've done and what I've lived. If that's a flex, I'm sorry, but like I'm very like I'm not easily impressed, which is why I'm also so hard on myself in terms of like content creation. Which
Lovely,
like,
yeah.
This is gack, it's nonsense. Like I'm not easily impressed. I'm not easily like flexed upon because like now my mama worked hard. She gave me a good life. You know, she did her best. I went like my first time in Paris was when I was 15. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen things in my life, but I'm not easy to like be flexed on. So you can tell me about your entire like your shoe collection, your walk-in closet, your Gucci travel.
But I think it's a generational
I'm
thing.
like, okay.
Do
I think
you?
I think it's a generational thing. I think
it's a personality thing.
I think what younger, and by younger I mean under 30 content creators have is that they don't feel the need because it's so accessible, right?
Yeah.
For
Definitely.
them, where like for instance, remember when
If you had a Gucci
was-
belt in 2010,
Mom,
my brother.
and with matching loafers, you got my feet
How
on
old
the
are
table
y'all?
the
Gucci
whole
belt
show.
in 2010.
But that's the thing, right? Even now, when you look at people we were having a chat in the last episode about how look at me content is done, right? Where you come in and go, big Gucci bag, look at me, look at me, look at me. And now it's more about like
authenticity
and value. Like you're telling me
What's the
about
value transfer?
what's the value. You're telling me, oh my god, what a wonderful experience I had with this. With DJing, he had the music is so great. I'm like, okay, I like this. I'm being educated, entertained. Whereas the one where I just like go, "Kimontle," like I'm pretty, love me for who I am. People are like, yeah, but everyone's pretty, you know. But we are from the generation where getting as you say, 2010. First thing I do when I arrive, I put my Gucci bag on the table because Gucci needs somewhere to sit.
See,
You know?
see if it was 2010.
We giving Gucci.
I was putting that
airtime.
Gucci on this table.
How old were you in 2010?
I was 8.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gucci about to reach like 8
I'm
years.
just saying.
Youths.
Yo, I'm an ancestor. Oh,
Yeah, yo, I was
God.
Imagine how I
Trust
feel.
me, I'm the ancestor.
Oh, I'm an ancestor.
Let's chat about how do you get around. So you do a lot of your own like legwork, right, and chasing up invoices. Like how my biggest fight ever, even with my people, is trying to get my money's worth, right, and then the money's worth paid on time.
Yes.
I'm going somewhere to work for something soon, and I'm having to fight about small things like you can't send me somewhere and not make sure there's a way for me to travel in the city I'm in or whatever. So how are you finding like these brand custodians, these brands with paying and like and not out
So
there.
you
know
don't
what I
have,
mean?
they haven't provided money for transport while you're traveling.
So I had to remind them that not necessarily money for transport, but I need to be transported. So
Even if they don't give you money.
yeah. Yeah, like you arrive and you go, where's the car? And they go, ish, let's call you an Uber. Now I have to call you to call the Uber when you could have just said, okay, Leroy, you're a driver. Your driver's license.
Yes.
Go to whatever, go pick up a car and drive to where. So I've had to say to them, but that's normal. It's normal for you to, when you send someone out of town, to put them in a car, make sure they have a hotel, they've got food, and they have money.
It's called the per diem.
The per diem, yeah.
Yes.
But that works
That's what
in
we
film.
do.
But that works in film, right?
We do that when we send influencers across.
There's some who go, "Ay, little bon."
Really?
Yes.
Ish.
I've had a brand come to me and say to me,
Literally, Ubers, food.
Yeah.
What else? I
So
can't
you
think.
share me an Uber?
yes,
No, we can
because
shy it.
Yeah, no, we've struggled.
we
Yo,
struggle.
it's tough,
bears. Yo.
Dude, I've had a brand, and I'm not lying to you. I had a brand ask me, will you be available at this time? And I said yes. And they said, will you be available in the city? So I'm thinking, you're taking me there. They're like, no. We are saying, is there a possibility,
go?
chance,
Yeah.
sort of, that we don't have to pay for your
Yeah,
flight? I'm like, hi, bo. So you're saying to me, you would take a chance that you want me to do work somewhere and you're waiting for me for another brand to send me there or other work to send me there and you want to pay for that.
That's mad. That's
It
mad.
And they do it.
It happens all the time. Like you just deal with it. You just.
How do you some random person?
They
Well,
probably know her.
how do you
Ah.
how do you manage then also having the conversations that are really hard, right? We keep saying that we're really excited about money. Like when you get work and they're saying to us, we're getting paid. How do you navigate where they're coming back and they're pushing back maybe on price or on like the scope of work where they're like, okay, but we only have 5 rand and you're saying everything that we asked you for will cost 15 rand.
Listen, keep that 5 rand. Keep that 5 rand. We'll talk when you have a 15. Because sometimes really you're going to do it to a certain point where that's going to be your new rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you kind of need to be a little bit strict with your rate so that they know
Oh,
that
okay, that's
you
a
can
whole separate
only
discussion.
Get me with
So
Let me ask you, wait, on that. How it's so subjective. So there's every single content creator will have their rate cards based on what? So let's just say 15 grand for a post on my Instagram, 10 grand for my TikTok, whatever. What is the rationale behind choosing your rate? Because your rate might be 15 grand, yours might be 25 grand, but based on what?
So obviously it varies on how the production of your content has to go.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Leroy has to get photographers and cameras and stuff.
Such.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to make it
You
real.
can't charge the same amount as me with my phone and my ring light for content.
But you have, actually, you have been named best new coming model, best model in Africa,
Woman of
best
the year.
woman of the year,
No,
woman
remember
of the
the
year
different
before and
contributing
after.
factors.
Forbes, what, 30 under 30?
30 under 30, 20. So the question I'm asking as a piggyback is, we always used to say, you know, if you have an Oscar, you can ask for $1 million.
Yes.
You know, but if you have like a Tony, you can ask for $500,
Yes.
$500,000. I think it's how I've done mine is I factor in my costs, right, of what I need to charge to make something, and then I factor in my time. And I was a lawyer in my previous life, and so I know how much an hour of my time, if I was a lawyer, would cost. And so I try and scale it on that level to say, you know, shooting like something like, let's say, for a water brand that would need me to, like, that's why my reels are expensive. You know, my reels are the most expensive thing because they require multiple location, multiple clothes. Sometimes you have to shoot on multiple days and you have to edit and then a pretty picture of me.
Okay, but then the conversation should be had that an influencer or creator shouldn't necessarily send their rate card. They should quote according to the job, because then
Yes, scope of work.
a rate card is a flat. It's flat. It's
But
that's
brands
20
then
grand for
call
a
us
You
and
post.
have to
say-
come up with an estimate.
Brands
You
ask
need
for
to have
it.
a constant.
But so I would say it makes more sense to quote on a job than, well, that's
Yeah.
just my flat
what
rate.
if I have a company, she has a company, I've worked with you, but they want your things through me. If they have my rate card, they can give it to her and she can see how I charge. So I don't have to wait to get the job first to actually quote. So
I
you
see
need to
what you're
also kind
saying.
of find an estimate where you can actually get something where
Like a benchmark.
a base price,
Yes.
and then depending on the job, then that's when you can speak to the brand
Okay,
and say,
and you
listen,
can-
because you guys want one,
I
two,
embody the
three,
Ponahalo no on this
let's-
one. What I have done is I also look at the brands. You'll not come to me and tell me as a multinational bank across Africa that you want to.
your banks.
No, so I use
Something is happening.
You know why I use banks? I use banks because banks are usually the ones that are hardest to create content for because they're very rigid. They've got legislation that stops them from
Yes.
doing certain things. In the same way
Yes.
that I always use insurance companies because I can't say go and buy this. They'll say that's financial advice. Don't do that. So don't say that. So I always use the banks because they're a comfortable place to land on for us to create content because energy drink, fun. Soda,
also,
fun.
the more difficult it is, that's when
Yeah.
you can also...
So my point is, if you're a big brand, right, sports brand, whatever, you don't dare come to me and say to me, I renegotiate. I'd be like, no, man. And I won't charge you 300K for a post, don't get me wrong. But when I'm saying to you, hey, post yaka ki 7 tau, you don't say to me, can we do it, make it 5?
Can we make it far?
Because I know a particular beauty brand that came to me and
Okay,
quoted.
now we're on beauty at least.
Yeah. They said to me, this is our price. And I phoned a Chomi who has less engagement, less followers, and one platform. And they were offering him 6,000 Rand more than me.
Why?
Because the number she throws out is 5 Rand. And then if you don't fight back, then she goes,
Oh, fair day.
Because you as a brand go, we saved more.
Was that from the brand direct or through an
Because
agent?
remember,
So
a brand
through the
is also a
agency that runs the
business,
brand.
So they need to be ambitious. Like, they're going to try to get you at a lower
Correct.
price.
But that's why I was
Correct.
asking, what do you do how do you get to a point where you go, that's ridiculous, and not from them, and then where you go, okay, now I'm asking for a lot, like, where do you find the middle ground to say, okay, I'll bump the price up because it's this brand.
And then what happens when they come back and say,
Sorry.
reshoot, and then you've got to reshoot and edit and
I literally have to reshoot Sunday, so
I'm
Oh,
so
you're
triggered.
reshooting.
I'm so triggered. But like, I feel like it does help to be in an industry where you have like friends and colleagues and people who you can like just refer to and speak to, like sounding boards, people who've done this before, and then you just confer like, is this fair? Am I doing too much?
phone
Are
us
they
at
doing
Style
too
ID
little?
will help.
Yeah, it's things like that, like platforms like these, just
Yeah.
to like ask, like, is this a fair price point? Am I doing too much? Am I
Yes.
asking for too little? That is my biggest help in all of these situations. Like, I literally just ask around, and essentially, just yourself, like your accolades, how much
Yeah.
production goes into your content, and like what you're trying to achieve. That's how I price like my things. Also, brands ask for rate cards, so it would be cute to be like, okay, but for what you're asking, I'm gonna do this. What I'm trying to deliver, I'm gonna like charge you this. But like brands want a rate
So what
card.
I've done to add
they
to my
want to see a card that's been done that you use that they can
Yes.
use for future reference if they want
So
to
my
show
one-
Shows you
other
professional
jobs,
as
yeah.
well.
what I've done with my management, I've told them that you should able to say, but we're willing to negotiate.
Negotiate, yeah.
What
I
that
always
does,
say
it
that,
says to
yeah.
us.
It opens
So
up a space for you to actually.
and I've got a
Good
bundle rate
relation.
as well. I say to you, if you take 5 of these, you get
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
what- hi, Siobhan.
especially.
We're done.
Yes.
I want to know if you guys ask for deposits before you do anything.
Love a deposit.
I feel like it should be like a thing,
Guys, can I
Standard.
please
a standard
excuse that?
thing,
Shoot
'cause
2 o'clock.
shooting is expensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
Thank you
I
so
could talk
much.
for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so much
Can we
fun.
do it again sometime?
Yeah, we'll bring you back in. We'll bring you back in. Okay, y'all. Bye bye.
Bye.